Our garden preparations continued on the Friend farm this week, and we took advantage of the beautiful weather to finish making all of our garden beds. This area had been under a silage tarp for the past 3 to 4 weeks to kill the perennial grasses and weeds that were currently growing in that spot. From there, it was just a day's work to get the beds and paths laid out, and here's how we did it. So our tarp has been on for, what, a month now, probably?
Yeah, probably. But it's been relatively cool weather leading up to this week has
Hot.
been in the 80s and 70s, so we'll see.
Yeah.
See if it's dead.
I mean, this has all been like lots of, this is perennials, teasel and grass, so it takes a lot longer than if you just had a cover crop on here, which is what we will do in the future.
Let's see.
Okay.
It's pretty dead.
Yeah.
And especially if we're gonna put the paper down before the mulch and the compost.
Yeah, if we weren't doing that, I wouldn't want to see any signs of life like this.
Yeah.
I'd want it all to be brown like this. But since we are putting down a layer of paper first, this should be just fine.
And then the compost and mulch on top of that.
Yeah.
So we'll just slide it over here, and then we can use it to kill this grass before we put the
Yeah, this is a little grassier than we hoped, kind of on the edges.
yeah,
It wasn't quite dead enough.
wherever the mounds meet the
Yeah, wood
mulch.
chips, yeah.
But if we kill that, then
Be good
once
to
the
go.
corn takes off, it'll be good to go.
Yep.
All right, so you can pretty clearly see the work that the silage tarp did. If you look at how green all that is and how dead all this is. So this is a great starting point for undisturbed no-till garden.
We're not particularly dogmatic or ideological about how to set up a garden because it is just so context dependent. In some situations, having tillage could be the right answer or a right answer, especially if you are going to be using cover crops and incorporating lots of the crop residue when you're tilling so that the bacteria can proliferate. A lot of new gardeners, especially in smaller spaces, also start with raised beds. I think because it feels easier, you have these concrete blocks of area to grow in, but they do often come with a heftier price tag from the metal or lumber that you have to buy to put them together, and then all of the potting soil and compost that you have to use to fill them. We've been using this method of minimal disturbance, minimal inputs, using wood chips and cover crops and just a little bit of compost in our community garden plots for years, and it's worked really well, so it felt like the right choice to try on our new farm. It's an especially good choice for us right now since we have a bunch of free wood chips, cardboard was either free or incredibly cheap to buy at the store, and we have a lot of beautiful rich topsoil that we think our plants' roots are going to do quite well in. You might be wondering, why don't we just till this all up? And one of the big reasons is we don't have a tiller or a tractor. So
That's a pretty good reason.
it is a good reason. We probably will for some of the direct seeded staple crops like the wheat, like we did in the fall, borrow a tractor from a friend. But to just get a garden going, it's really easy to just do it in this no-till way. We already had the tarp. We bought some compost, the wood chips were free, and this also just helps keep the soil structure really intact for all those beneficial microorganisms, all the bacteria and fungi. When you turn over the soil, like with tillage, a lot of them die and just all that carbon gets released. Bless you.
Sorry.
But in this case, we're keeping the soil intact. It's going to have better water retention. We're also not going to be turning up a bunch of the annual weed seeds that are down in the soil. If you till, all of those get sunlight and moisture and they start popping up. Whereas in this case, we will probably have some perennial weeds like the thistle, that'll still pop up. But over time, that weed seed bank will get buried and we won't have to worry about weeds very much at all.
So if we did just leave it like this, this isn't totally dead yet, so a lot of this grass would be able to start photosynthesizing again and bounce back, which is not what we want. So we're going to use some contractor paper, and this is just, brown, undyed wood pulp paper. You don't want any kind of waxes or plastic liners or anything in that, obviously.
You could use
you know, really free of tape or dye cardboard too, but
Right.
this is just a lot easier because you can get it in a nice roll
Yeah.
for like a few bucks.
And we did use a bunch of cardboard in this section. We used like pizza boxes and little patches and stuff like that. But as much pizza as we eat, we did not have enough to do this whole garden area.
It's as easy as that.
All right. You know what this calls for?
Time lapse?
It calls for a time lapse. So you can see what we were doing here, overlapping it by about 2 or 3 inches so that the weeds don't just come up in the middle of it. And then just did that the whole way down, threw some compost on the end to hold it in place. And in the middle, where, as you could probably see in that time lapse, the wind was trying to blow it all over the place. And now we're just gonna go through and fill it in with 3-foot wide beds of compost with 1-foot rows of wood chips in between them, kind of like what we did right here. So I don't know, Sylvan, do you think Wood Chip Bro's gonna join us for this activity?
I sure hope so, because we need him.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see if I can tap back into that.
Yeah. Okay, now that we're a few rows in, we can talk about how we're laying things out. So we're using our roll of paper that was about 36 inches to measure out 36-inch beds. We like that spacing because, yeah, it's lots of space, but you can still reach easily across.
You can do 2 rows of, you know,
A lot of things,
or,
yeah.
you know, they're pretty wide. If you were doing salad greens, you do them across like that. You can reach all the way across.
And a little over a foot for the paths, so you can squat. Nice squat.
Yeah, and we're only doing like 1 inch or 2 of compost because we have that paper down there. And by the time the paper breaks down, which will be probably in like a couple of weeks, the weeds underneath will be, you know, completely in the
Fully
dark.
toasted.
And, yeah, they won't come back up. So, yeah,
And we don't want to do too much compost because when you have a really deep bed of compost, just compost, it often dries out, especially if it's not super fine. Like this is pretty chunky, and then it can be hard to germinate seeds in, we found, so yeah.
Yeah, so this is basically like a combination of compost and mulch.
Right.
But the majority of the plant's roots will be down in the native soil beneath there. You know, they'll just go right through the wet paper when it starts to turn into mush.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just do a 3-foot wide bed of compost and then a 1-foot row of wood chips.
What's happening?
He's back.
What? No!
Let's go move some chip,
Oh
baby.
no!
If you're not moving chip, you could be missing out on 7 figures a day.
What?
I'm making 7 figures every day from wood chip. I'm making action figures. I'm making porcelain figurines. I'm figure skating.
Yeah?
I'm figuring stuff out.
Ooh!
3 other ones.
You'll figure it out.
Every day. I'm just on that grind. On that wood. I'm grinding up trees.
Yeah.
And I'm making chip. The people who didn't see last week's video are like, what is happening to that guy?
I feel the same way.
Last one.
Woo! Should we meet up like Lady and the Tramp?
Yeah.
Ow!
That was
aggressive.
way too corny to go in the video.
We did
All right.
it!
Nice.
It only took about 4 $10 rolls of the brown craft paper to cover our garden space, and from there it was an easy and satisfying day of putting down wood chips and compost to make the beds. Then the next morning we just broke up the chunky compost a little bit and the beds were ready to plant. This is definitely one of Jordan's and my favorite times of year.
Nice seed bed here. So, Weasel still hasn't called. Weird. I guess they don't like your tagline. You don't need diesel when you've got the Weasel.
I know, it's so good.
So we're not actually looking for sponsorships from weasels or anyone else, but if you want to support our channel and make your garden better, learn how to grow, harvest, cook, and preserve tons of crops, or become a skilled forager, we recommend checking out our online courses. They are chock full of hours and hours of educational videos and our online community forum where you can connect with fellow growers and foragers and ask us all of your gardening and foraging questions. Also, we have sliding scale pricing options for folks on SNAP, WIC, or other financial assistance that want to take our courses, so get in touch if that's you. All right, back to the video, and it's time to plant potatoes.
All right, tater time. Whoa, oh my God.
What are you doing?
Open immediately.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
wait here, get it from this side.
Tasty.
Clean, that was clean. There's our spuds.
Spuds. Yeah, I went a little crazy at online. Getting seed
All right,
potatoes.
well we got plenty of space for
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Kennebec.
Kennebec, which we grow most years.
All right, wait, let's get another one of these. Here we go. Here we go.
Our old hay, very old, historic. We don't even know how old. Hay has been sitting here for, what, I don't know, 3 weeks or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty broken down under there. Lots of
definitely.
fungal activity.
Yeah. We'll just plop these a couple flakes down in the hay and
Yeah, we're gonna space
see
them
what
out.
happens.
Every foot we'll put one down.
I think so. That's what I usually do in like a raised bed type scenario. So this is also nice and fluffy. Yeah.
Label them or just guess?
I mean, let's just keep it to like at least a row of the same kind so that we can, yeah, remember.
All right. Show that they look like little bird nests.
Aww. And these are like
Planting
little
our
eggs.
little eggs in there.
I know that eggplant is called eggplant because it's egg shaped, but potatoes could also be called eggplant.
Yeah, or turd plant.
No.
So these are Kennebec.
Actually, I
which is
prefer in French they're earth apples.
earth apples. I
Pomme
mean,
de
they do
terre.
kind of have that texture if you just eat them raw.
Yeah. Or dirt apple, which is
Dirt apple. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. These are Kennebec, which is a russet style potato. So we're just putting the whole potatoes in rather than chitting them, which is when you cut them into little pieces with the eyes on each one. And we'll probably thin them out. You know, if 10 plants come up right here from 10 eyes, we'll probably cut out a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing little experiments when growing. These might not make it into a scientific journal, but they're a great way to just try out different methods. And because I had gone a little overboard when ordering seed potatoes this year, it felt like the perfect time to set up a little comparison trial. We had enough old hay from the barn that we took down that we were able to make 2 roughly 20-foot long beds. We spaced the seed potatoes at a little over a foot, so we had 16 per bed, and we had 4 different varieties, so there were 8 seed potatoes of each variety. For this Ruth Stout method of planting potatoes, we're not going to do anything except maybe throw a little more straw on top of it if it looks like the potatoes are getting too exposed. In our other potato beds, we laid out paper and a couple inches of compost just like we did in the rest of the garden. The potatoes we laid out the exact same, so a little over a foot in between, and there are 8 seed potatoes of each variety across the 2 beds. We gave both beds a little bit of blood meal and some lime since we know from our soil test that our soil is a little acidic. And now in a few months we'll weigh our harvests and see how the 2 methods perform side by side.
All right, someone's experiment.
Yes.
See what does better, Ruth Stout or deep mushroom compost?
Yeah. So this side by side, the other way of doing it is still a little unconventional because we're not digging down deep. So I guess it's kind of more similar to when you hill up potatoes, only we're just using compost. But they'll still mostly be growing down into the native soil. I find it so satisfying seeing all the little potatoes in their holes. Yeah, that is it. They're sort of nest-like. They look cozy, especially when you tuck them in with a little compost blanket. That's what I'm gonna do from now on when I can't go to sleep.
Pretend you're a potato?
Yeah.
If the Ruth Stout method using the old spoiled hay does work well, this will be a great way to expand our growing space with minimal effort. There's a lot of farms around here that produce hay, and we definitely see big bales just kind of left to rot in the field sometimes, so we're hoping we can get a good source of cheap or free hay in the future. Now that the weather is warm, our friends and future landmates are able to come out to the farm more frequently, which is so delightful. This week, Annie, Dre, and Juniper helped us plant chickpeas, flowers, and herbs. It's so fun being out in the garden together or just getting to observe all the different animals and plants popping up that are new to us in this space.
Okay, let's see. That's probably good. Do you want to put it in there?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay, you know how to do it, right? You want to nestle it in there and then put some soil all the way around.
Good
Tuck
job.
it in. Nice.
Good night.
And then we'll water it in afterward. Okay, go ahead. All right. Got it?
I'm making blood.
Wow, that's a good drink.
All right.
Good job, Juniper.
Blood.
Mud. Juniper, is mud the most fun thing in the world to play with?
Yeah.
I think so too.
Muddy.
Say goodnight.
Thin them out if there are too many of them come up. Yeah, of course.
Sound like a goose.
Are these the Syrian peas?
Oops, sorry.
That's cool. Just found some fresh black bear poop.
First bear poop of spring.
The first, I mean, it's full of grasses and stuff.
Well,
That is.
didn't you read that they eat skunk cabbage as one of their first spring meals to like
Oh yeah,
push
that's
everything out?
probably what they're doing. They're doing their spring cleanse,
Yeah,
the spring black bear cleanse.
This week, we talked a lot about fighting the urge to try and do too much at once and striking a balance between really slowing down and observing and listening to the land versus starting some of these long processes that will improve it, like clearing out invasives and planting trees. We all feel so lucky to get to be a part of it. Even just looking at basic infrastructure needs on the farm though, the project list can feel a little never-ending at times. Jordan and I fight that feeling of overwhelm by just tackling what seems most necessary in the moment, or sometimes by going after low-hanging fruit when we need an easy win. At the same time, we have to keep an eye on the incremental progress for our long-term goals, things like, building a house to live in. Since we're still waiting on some logistics and permits for all of that, this week we tackled some literal low-hanging fruit and worked on getting trellises for some of the wild grapevines strewn about the farm.
So there's actually, come in close. Let's see what's here. It's mostly multiflora rose, but in there's a grapevine. I think these are Concord grapes because that's what we were finding all over the farm.
I don't think they're actually Concord specifically, but there's something like that.
Yeah, that style.
They're delicious.
So I'm just gonna cut all this invasive crap out of here and then build a little trellis on the existing posts for the animal paddock.
Perhaps long sleeves would have been a good call.
It's too hot for that.
Don't go quiet. That's why we need a goat.
Yeah.
Right now, you're the goat. Feel better, grapevine?
All right. We freed her from the tangled mass of rose. No, wow, this is a huge grapevine.
Yeah. We might need to choose some.
Yeah, probably. All right, first, we build a little trellis for it. So we're gonna use this galvanized 16 gauge wire and just put it right through all these posts and then just keep kind of going down the line. Grapes can keep spreading. There's a few more grapes coming up over there. Just turn this into a big arbor.
We're pruning this grapevine just to keep it healthy, get lots of airflow in there and make it fit on the trellis better. And since we're doing that, we have lots of wonky pieces of old grapevine and they are perfect for making wreaths.
You might almost say they're grape for making wreaths.
You might.
She
but
did
I
say
won't.
that. She did say that before I turned the camera on.
So this is really rough looking right now, but you can just kind of shape it and wind it all around. And then because it's so knobbly, it's perfect for like sticking other flowers and stuff in. So I will grab some and make a little spring wreath here in a second.
So crafty. Martha Stewart, eat your heart out.
Yeah, so that's my little base right there. So yeah, the little knobbly bits are perfect for sticking things through. This is just some honeysuckle, which we were also cutting back. And I literally just stick it through.
Wow.
Wind it around. Pussy willow was good for this. All kinds of stuff.
Wait, you gotta put it on your hat.
Okay.
Like your crown.
Will it fit on my head?
That
Oh!
looks good, actually. Wow.
Spring cleaning.
Coming soon.
These simple trellises took Jordan just a couple of hours to put up, and while it's possible that down the line the old fence posts we used might need some reinforcement, for now they're a great way to get the grapevines up out of the ground and hopefully easy to harvest from this summer. And finding a simple solution to the masses of tangled grapevines everywhere gave us plenty of time to splash around in the creek afterwards, which at this time of year is very important. We look forward to updating you on how all these projects are going, and as always, a big thank you to our Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. Have a great week, and stick around for a minute if you want to relax and watch some beautiful nature scenes set to our friend and landmate Ethan's beautiful piano music.